next? Windows are good. There is one failed window that I saw in one of the bedrooms, and then you are missing some screens throughout the home. They also put some nice decorative planters out front underneath the windows. Unfortunately, they didn't line them, and so they're eroding and degrading from the inside out, and some of them are about to fall through as far as the planters themselves. The one of the biggest things that I want on the top of your list is a couple of foundation cracks that are sizable in nature. Sizable meaning they're more than a quarter inch. And what that tells me is we're beyond just, hey, I want you to throw some sealant in it and seal them up so we don't get moisture in there, which freezes then thaws and freezes then thaws and degrades concrete. These are a little bit wider, and we've got some cracks inside the home that I believe may be attributed to these cracks. So at the very least, we need to get them sealed, but I would like somebody to come out and take a look at them and tell us whether there's any opportunity to brace them or even a need to. Now, the problem that I have is where those cracks are, I cannot see them inside the small crawl space you have. They're behind the walls of the family room downstairs. And so I think it's prudent to get somebody out here to say, hey, let's just seal them up. I don't see any problem with it, or here's what I'd like to do.
The one that you have in there, is that a larger one as well?
So that's one of the larger ones, and you can see I dug down a little bit, and so we've got wider up top than we got down at the bottom. And then this one, again, is out front,
Over that way.
and I can't see it in there.
But the lower one that was in the crawl space.
There's a little one there, and then this one in the crawl space, so you can, actually I thought, that is not in the crawl space. This is under the home, behind the wall, so there's one in back under the deck part over here, one back there, and one up front here.
Okay.
So yeah, we definitely want to get them taken a look at. There's some electrical things around the home, a couple of receptacles that aren't working. There's a sump pump that we're going to talk about outside that lower door in the backyard, that all of the electrical leading to it is not rigid, meaning I can just yank on that and I'm actually pulling on the wires, supplying wiring down to that sump pump. So we want to get that shored up. There's an electrical receptacle that's not working on the outside of the home. And now we're onto the interior, we're looking at the exterior doors. The only thing at the front that I can really point out is the glass door is kind of taped shut so that it doesn't latch. And then we do have a crack that is a typical stress crack leading from that corner of the door over. I don't necessarily believe that has anything to do with the foundation crack. That's probably just a typical crack after how many years in a 1962 home. The rear door, are we at the rear door? Actually, we're still at the main entrance. And on the exterior of the home, there's some caulking that appears as though we've done some excessive caulking. Actually, you know what? Please take that back. That's not the front door. That is the rear sliding glass door. These are in the wrong place. So on this rear sliding glass door where the frame is attached to the home, it looks like they did some additional caulking there because perhaps they were getting moisture in there. I don't see anything that tells me there was moisture or any moisture damage here, but I saw the extra caulking. Now we're at that rear door in the back, and there's a couple of concerns that I have. Number one, all of the moisture from everywhere is going down into that pit. Well, as I walked up to that pit, I went, well, they probably put the plywood down there because it gets very, very wet. Then I moved the little pot because I could see a little hole underneath it, and there's your pot. And under there was, and the pictures are not here, they're in the other section, it's a sump pump. So We knew at some point, since the home was built in 62, that water collected back there. So what they did is they created a drainage pit. They put a sump pump in there, which is controlled by a float that floats up when water gets in it, and then it pumps it to, I believe, the drainage system. Unfortunately, that sump pump is not working. It is in pieces. However, good news, there is a brand new sump pump sitting downstairs that I'll show you in a picture. So we knew we needed to replace it. That is something that you'll want to get done relatively quickly because fall's coming and the rain is coming with it.
It doesn't rain here.
There's a couple of mystery switches down in that family room that I could not figure out what they controlled. This one, I believe, is the light on the outside of the exterior of the door, but I think the bulb is probably burnt out. And then one of these two controls the lights, and one of them, I'm not sure what it controls either. That side.
Do you think that it would control the sump pump, or does that automatically turn
I
on?
would doubt that anyone would want to put that on a switch because
Yeah.
little Johnny could come up and shut it off thinking he's shutting the lights off, and then it rains real good and we got a problem. This is the side door leading into the porch. It's just a sliding door. It's kind of homemade, and we're going to talk about Mr. Handyman homemade stuff here in a little bit as well. Your exterior heat pump unit. So a heat pump provides both cooling and heating when it's optimized for the heating to be heated by the heat pump. Your system's going to heat your home with did I say sump pump? I think I did. Your heat pump. So, in other words, when it needs heat in your home and you turn the heat on, it's going to go to the heat pump first. And then when it gets too cold out, it's going to go to your furnace. Okay? So your heating and cooling first is going to go to your heat pump. Unfortunately, that heat pump is 32 plus years old and it has got some issues with it. It's working well, but the unit itself on the exterior of the home is not attached to the pad, the concrete pad. So you could pick it up and slide it around, which is not a good thing. And then on that pad, we've got erosion underneath that pad, and it actually has brought it to a state of unlevelness. Not a whole lot. You can get 5 degrees, and maybe she's sitting about 5 degrees, but it isn't level. The other issue that we have with it is that the maximum circuit breaker for that heat pump unit is a 30 amp circuit. I believe in your electrical panel that they installed a 50 amp circuit, meaning if there's an electrical issue with that, it's not going to trip the breaker. It's going to start melting wires. So we need to get that looked at. And the age of the HVAC unit, the fact that I don't see it serviced, the fact that it's 32 years old, and these couple of things that we need somebody to take a look at, we need to get an HVAC technician out here to at least service it, clean it, and tell you what you're looking at. He or she may tell you, and likely are going to tell you, that it uses an old type of refrigerant. Unfortunately, the data plate doesn't tell me what refrigerant it uses, but I'm pretty darn sure it's R22, which is now defunct and not being made and very hard to get. So if you were to have a repair on your HVAC system, it might be very costly. They may just tell you to replace it.